Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on our coaching call here today, talking about 8 ways to personally take responsibility for hitting your biggest goals. So if you're someone who struggles with follow through consistently, you're going to want to save this video for the future.
Which I think is most people.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to,
it really is.
always
Be
on and
and we'll talk a little bit about that in terms of trying to go for perfection. So if you're someone who struggles with that follow through, you definitely want to save this for the future. When you're hanging out in bed, scrolling through social, hitting that snooze button, or whatever you're doing to avoid what you know you need to do. For those of you who are new to this group, hello and welcome. My name is Coach Ryan, and this lovely lady is just Danielle. Coach Danielle is what we like to be called, all right? And we are coaches of 2 wonderful programs. One, our SC Bootcamp and SC Bootcamp Coaching for Women, which is a local, don't touch my computer, which is our local boot camp and coaching program here in Rhode Island. And then we have our worldwide program, Empower 12, weight loss and accountability coaching program for women, where we build sustainable habits, help you coach and help coach you create sustainable habits when it comes to losing weight. And of course, not only doing that for now, but in the future as well. So in this coaching call, we want to talk a little bit more about how we take big action towards your goals and tips about how to give you these how critical these are for making it happen in the end. So I really just want to get into this unless you have something else you want to say here. So we're going to dive into it. And our first one is probably pretty obvious, but it's holding yourself accountable. And I think this is one of the biggest reasons why we are in the coaching business. We are coaches to hold you accountable, and it's pretty obvious. But when you take personal responsibility for your life, it allows you to take freedom to tackle your problems and, of course, celebrate all those victories that you may have, because that's something that a lot of people don't tend to do. So when you tell yourself you're going to do something, you actually do it, right? The more often you do this, the easier it gets and the more progress you make because you're creating these habits. And that's our goal as coaches, is to help you create these sustainable habits through repetition. Yeah.
And then it becomes easier to hold yourself accountable since you're doing this stuff so automatically.
Yeah. And we use the excuse, or I use the example, not the excuse of brushing your teeth all the time. It's second nature to you now, or probably is, or at least once a day, right? For all of us, because it's something we've been doing for so long, and we really don't even know why we're doing it. It wasn't like we were born and then given info.
Well, we know why we brush our teeth.
Yeah, but when you were told to do it, hence when you were told to do it, you didn't know why you did it. You just did it, right? So you have to look at these habits that you're creating as just that. And when you're held accountable to those things, they become second nature to you. They become a part of who you are. That is when you know you've created that habit.
Yep.
Next one, and one that I think a lot of people don't get to first, mainly because of the fact they don't know if they actually need it or not. And if you have to think about it, you probably do. And that is asking for help if you need it.
Especially if you're having a hard time holding yourself accountable.
True. I think that they kind of go hand in hand in that case. And it requires pushing your ego to the side so you can move forward and accelerate your results. And I think a lot of people have trouble with this because it makes them feel very uncomfortable, right? Uncomfortable at first. But remember, you actually have people out there who want to support you, who love you, who want to help you. And it can give an opportunity to help you out. So the key here is really asking right away and not delaying it. We hear a lot of people who say, they want this result, this result, this result, and this result. And then when at times push comes to shove, they might say to themselves, well, I know what I should be doing. I'm just going to try harder to actually make this happen. The question then becomes, well, why weren't you doing that before? What didn't you have in place before that was preventing you from doing it now? And it's great to say, I'm going to try harder. But if you're not equipping yourself with the things we're going to talk about here and set yourself up for what's right for you, then you're going to continue to be on that cycle of maybe small progress, and then something's going to happen to derail you, and you're not going to be able to sustain it long term.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
Wow. There you go. What insight you offer there.
Well, like I said before, especially when asking for help, it could be that like you said, in a lot of cases, you know what you're supposed to do. In some cases you don't. So that could be the help that you're asking for. Also, I think the information out there is so overwhelming. Asking for help and getting clarification on things is very helpful. And then, of course, the helping to hold yourself accountable, having somebody else hold you accountable on top of hopefully holding yourself accountable.
And going back to the information, you need to be as specific as possible as to what it is you want to achieve. It's amazing how many people we talk to, when they think they have a need, they feel they have a need of what they want, but then they have a really hard time at explaining what that actually is for them and how specific it is for them, how specific it is for their lifestyle, their schedule, what they're willing to do, how it relates to the goals or needs that they have. So when you're asking for help, you got to be not only asking the right questions for yourself, but then of course making sure that you're getting the words across to the people that you're asking help from. So very, very important to be clear on that. And sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. We have to kind of think about these things. And I think that's a hard thing, or a thing for many of us in our society who don't want to do it. We want results instantly, right? We don't want to sit and stew and think, well, how do I want this, or how do I want this? I want to start making progress now, or I want to start getting results now.
Yeah, and you have to lay the foundation first. I know in our program, one of the first things we do before our ladies even start the actual coaching process, full on, is setting up their goals, their why statement. You got to know why you're doing it, why you want to do it, and you got to know your goals and specify them.
Yep, I agree. So don't forget that aspect. Number 3. Ooh, this one hurts.
Yeah. It happens all the time. Yeah. This comes up all the time.
It's super sneaky, but when you start comparing yourself to other people, it's easy to look at them and go, well, I'll never be as good as them, or so I might as well not even try, or what's the point, right?
Oh, my favorite. What are they doing? Because I want to do that. Because I want those results. Yeah. It doesn't work.
So you would do that, and then you get off the path on what you need to be doing for yourself, or you give up, right? But what we have to realize is that we're all born with different strengths, weaknesses, and gifts. So really comparing yourself to others, it essentially robs your ability to express and build on what makes you uniquely you, or you in general. So you want to let other people inspire you, right? But you also want to let your own abilities and gifts kind of shine through, because you never know who or what will inspire you here. So if you're someone who is consistently comparing yourself to others, think about how you feel on a daily basis.
Yeah, and you're not learning anything if you're doing that. If you just do what someone else does, for example, you're not necessarily learning what works for you and your body. So that is so important if we're talking about sustainability. You need to know what's going to work for you.
Yeah, and that's where we see so many people missing the boat when it comes to lifelong or sustainable results, is that they're constantly comparing themselves to other people, and they're trying to do what other people are doing, and it just doesn't fit.
Well, not only that,
them.
And then it kind of it pushes to the side what they should be doing, because there are some very basic things that everyone should do and lay that foundation first. So trying to jump ahead, we don't know where these people are starting, that you're comparing yourself to.
You don't know
don't know
their motivation level, right? So
because they all make such a difference when it comes to weight loss, or just building
consistency
with
healthy habits. Yeah. So I mean, for example, if you have a friend who's dropping X amount of pounds of weight, and they're like, well, this is, I just drink three shakes a day and I'm good to go. Well, if you think that that's one simple thing that's going to change your life completely based on what they're doing, you can't base it off of that. And doing one thing will not be the be all end all to it. So there are multiple factors that are playing a role here. Someone who says, well, I really lift heavy weights. And if you're not someone who's lifted heavy weights before, you probably shouldn't jump into that right away without having any knowledge of doing something like that. So it starts with the basic things. So in comparing yourself to others, it's really about eating better quality foods, eating about more consistency. It's getting better sleep. It's reducing your stress. It's exercising consistently. So, just starting with the things that are going to be best for you and what you're willing to do. And again, how it applies with the goals that you want to achieve in the future. Mm-hmm. Here's the next one, which I know we prep our clients on all the time in our bootcamp and coaching program and our Empower 12 program. And this one here is expect the unexpected. And when it happens, don't let it derail you. So, right, we always want to have a plan, but you always want to have either buffer time or a pivot plan in addition to that, because guess what, guys?
Life is unexpected. Right. It happens all the time.
Yeah, the shit is going to hit the fan, and it's inevitable at some point. You're going to fall off track, or, get derailed or some way, or something's going to pop up throughout your day and it's going to completely throw you off.
And you can't use it as an excuse. And that happens all the time. Oh, well, this happened, so I couldn't do this, And in some cases, yes, it may change your schedule up a little bit that you couldn't get something in when you wanted to exactly. But having that pivot plan.
Yeah. Because when you have that, it allows you to grow in the future, right? So you learn from what mistakes you made in the past in terms of the planning or the lack of pivoting. So therefore you can say to yourself, okay, now that I've done this and I've experienced this, what can I do the next time to prevent this from putting me in a situation that wasn't as positive that I thought it was going to be for me today? And that's how you're going to learn in the future. You can't just look at it as, oh, throw my hands up, my life sucks, I suck, and this is no fun, I can't do this at all. No, because guess what? You will never get those results at that point, and you'll never learn from that. So you cannot let it derail you. So you need to make sure that you're not only planning on these cases, but you have buffer time. And when I say that, meaning in terms of scheduling your life out throughout your days, have an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes planning ahead. Or pivoting in terms of what you're going to do in the event that something comes up. Always having that extra, high protein snack with you in the event that oh crap, I got stuck somewhere and I couldn't get the meal that I was going to have at home out. So I pivoted with that.
This actually happened to us recently, just a couple days ago.
Yes.
We were at a sporting event for our son. We were supposed to be there for a certain amount of time. We kind of knew it may have gone longer. If it did, we were going to get takeout from a specific restaurant. Lo and behold, we're going to be there longer. We call the specific restaurant. They're closed. So now
now
the restaurant
we just both, hey,
the food we were going to get is no longer available to us because that place is not open. No. So we had a specific amount of time we had to eat before we could, we're moving on to the next event. I went to a local grocery store and the local pharmacy, and between those two places, I was able to pick up a good quality meal for us at that time, all 5 of us, to eat. It may have not been ideal, but it worked, right?
Yeah. So it bridged that gap to what we needed.
So it doesn't have to be, oh shoot, now I just have to go order a Big Mac and fries at McDonald's. Take a few seconds, think about where you are, where you can go, what you can do that aligns with your goals, and go from there.
And in another aspect to this, if you're in our Empower 12 coaching program, that's what you have us for. So
contact us.
You're constantly talking with us throughout the day anyways, when we're coaching you personally on a daily basis. Like that's when you say, hey, I need some help. How can I go about this? And we will coach you through that process. It's the same thing with working out, right? I mean, okay, you go to bed, you're planning on getting up at X amount of time, and you're planning on leaving the house 45 minutes after you wake up, bada bing, bada boom. Something comes up and it prevents you from getting in your workout session, right? And we tell this to our ladies in our boot camp and coaching program all the time. Just because you don't make that full session like you normally would on a normal basis doesn't mean just throw your hands up and say, oh, I couldn't work out today.
Yeah, that's a very all or nothing
You
mindset.
have another 23 hours in the day where you can do something. So yeah, it might not be ideal. It might not be the same thing in terms of getting your hour workout in, seeing your awesome coach and coaching you and being with your awesome women that are in the group. But at the same time, can you make out 5 minutes to do something? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And the reason why you want to take something like that and do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is because it keeps you consistent, right? Think about it. Okay, yeah, it wasn't perfect, but I did A, B, and C, or I did A and B. I feel much better about myself, as opposed to saying, damn it, should have did this today, I didn't.
And then
pissed
that
off at myself.
Just breeds more bad attitude. Yep. Well, I couldn't get my workout in, so I'm just going to go grab that takeout meal that I might as well. I didn't work out anyway.
And then who knows how it makes you feel the next day, how it affects your sleep, your stress level, all that stuff. So you have to be planning ahead. You have to expect that unexpected. And when it happens, don't let it knock you off your track. Don't let it derail you. All right, next one. Strengthen your inner circle. I would say for those of you who are in either one of our programs, you're doing that by just being in the programs because you're surrounding yourself with obviously coaches who care for you, but other women who are like-minded, who share similar thoughts, needs, goals. So the support aspect plays a huge role. And the reason for this is kind of similar to what we talked about when it comes to being derailed, right? If you have a network of people who are working towards the same things you are, okay, or supporting you, it's going to help to motivate you, inspire you, especially when you do get derailed, right? It can provide you valuable support, when things get really, really tough or challenging, whether it be something you see people, in person or online, wherever it is, you need to find a support system that's going to be aligned with the goals that you have. And of course, that you enjoy being around, right? Or have similar goals or interests with you.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of like the opposite of misery loves company, right? If you
surround yourself with people, you all know those people out there.
Yeah. If you surround yourself with people that are, the opposite of what you're looking for as far as your goals and your needs, they're going to unfortunately bring you down to their level. So surrounding yourself with people that,
it's like Michael Corleone said in the horrible, horrible Godfather 3, they just keep sucking me back in. Okay. 1 and 2 is fantastic. 3 is terrible. So, the mom just keeps on sucking you back in. Same thing with those negative people in your life who are just draining.
And sometimes it's because you want to help them, but
which is commendable.
Yeah.
Right?
Sometimes you really need all the time, most of the time, you need to focus on helping yourself first.
Yeah, because that is tough for a lot of people, because you may be a good person, you want to give that out there, but unless they want your help, you cannot help anybody who doesn't want your help. And therefore, if you're trying to help people who don't want your help, you need to focus on what's best for you, and that is helping your own self, because you always need your help, right? Ooh, that was good. That was good. Number 6, okay? Take care of your body. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, when you eat healthy, get enough exercise in, sleep well, manage your stress.
It's a perfect circle. It just keeps it'll breed itself. I mean, you're going to want to eat better if you work out. Right. You're going to want to work out because if you eat better or eat higher quality fuel, you're going to have the energy to work out. So it kind of gives this great perpetual motion of, wellness.
Yeah. And for those of you who are on our Empower 12 program, that's exactly what we're sculpting for you each and every day. We have a personalized program based on what you want to achieve, but we're covering all facets there, and we're working on them for what you're willing to do and how it aligns with the goals and your schedule. But that's what we're looking to achieve. For those of you in our boot camp and coaching program, we're focusing a little bit more on the consistency just for exercise. So there's other areas that many of you still need to want to work on because of the fact that those are missing links. And if you're working on just one, that's a great start, right? It's great. Maybe for some of you, that's where you need to be right now. But if you want to have sustainable, manageable progression with your results, those areas got to be on point. The nutrition, the physical activity, the sleep, and the stress, they all got to be consistent. And again, we're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for all or nothing, because it's not always going to be the case. Life is always going to throw us things that are going to be off. But if we're consistent with those areas, like Danielle said, it's going to be a perfect circle for you, which means you're going to have a lot of progression. You're going to have fast track to the best results that you want to achieve.
Yep.
Number 7 of 8. 7 is my favorite number. You know that. Acknowledge your feelings and then take action anyway.
Yeah, guys, it's hard. Life is hard, right? So not everything is easy. You're going to have to acknowledge that things get hard sometimes. Yes.
We're going to get down on ourselves.
Yeah. Is it more hard? That didn't sound right. Is it harder to take the time to cook a high quality meal than it is to just go grab takeout? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little more time consuming, but you're going to reap the benefits much more. So realize things are going to be challenging. Things are going to be hard. Things are not going to be perfect. It's going to be there. Acknowledge those feelings, but move forward anyway, because otherwise you just stay stuck, and no one wants to stay stuck.
You don't want setbacks. You don't want to feel bad, right? So you have to ask yourself, what do I need to do to make myself feel better right now? Okay. And then you do it.
It could be as small as taking a bath, taking a walk, petting your dog. Like, don't get stuck in those negative feelings. Acknowledge them. They are there. You shouldn't just push them to the side and not think about them. Acknowledge them, but then take action. What can I do to change the way I'm feeling right now?
Agree. And then this leads to this, which would be number 8, focusing on the positive. And they kind of go hand in hand, acknowledging your feelings and then taking action so that you can focus on the positive. It's really, really hard if you're constantly in the negative to obviously acknowledge the feelings that you're having and then taking action on top of something like that, right? So if you notice that inner voice is becoming negative or critical, and that's always going to happen, right? We're human beings. It's kind of what happens. Stop it right there in its tracks. Okay. You don't deserve to be talked to like that by anybody, especially not yourself. And the good thing about that is if you can say those negative words, you can easily turn it around and say those positive words. so you don't feel like, feeling worse or even quitting in those cases. And, something I posted recently in one of our groups is, your body hears everything your mind says. Your body hears everything your mind says. So you need to remember how that will affect you in a positive or a negative way. So focus on that positive.
One other thing I want to say before you move on to the next one. I also think it's super important. It's kind of in line with this topic here. When you do have those goals that you hit and those little wins, acknowledge them. That is some of the positive. People tend to skip right over them and just, take the time to be excited about those things that you're hitting.
You have to. It's too often it just gets to the point where you don't focus on that and then you miss out on those long-term goals. So those are our 8. And there is one more bonus. If you are looking to, of course, maximize your ability to do what you need to do and really create that personal responsibility, create a plan or work with coaches. I don't know if you know any that could help you stay focused on and take the best actions to get the best results. We are here for you guys. If you have any questions, comments, let us know. And of course, the comments. You could also reach out to us via email, or you could shoot us a private message on Facebook. And if you're interested in hearing more about how we can help you, again, reach out in either one of those ways. We're always available to talk, see if one of our programs or plans are a good fit for you, and you are a good fit for us. And without further ado, anything else you'd like to say? All right, everyone. We will be talking to you soon. Thank you so much for watching our coaching call or listening in. You can listen to these anytime. Simply subscribe to our YouTube page if you are, our YouTube channel, if you are watching this from that link as well. And we'll get you the updates for all our coaching calls that come out. I hope you have nothing but a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.